Three, two, one. What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of Next Big Thing HQ, the podcast that stands at the forefront of the equity crowdfunding revolution. Today, we welcome on Jean Gregoire, the founder and CEO of Lovebox, the company that brings happiness into every home. Jean is a guy that has worn many hats in his life, from education to robotics to his time in robotics, and now as an entrepreneur, getting to know him a little bit before the conversation started. He's someone we are super interested to interview. So, Jean, thank you for your time, and welcome on Next Big Thing HQ.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Jean, tell us more about Lovebox. What is Lovebox?
Well, so Lovebox is basically a box that you put in your home and which is going to bring you daily doses of happiness. So that's really the thing, because it's solving the biggest problem we have in life. Like, we will all want to be happy after, of course, having a roof, having a good, physical health. But then we all want to be happy. And the thing is, the secret to happiness is to dedicate some space in physical space, but also time for happiness. And so this box is what it does. So it's a box which brings happiness in two ways. So it's a real, I can show you, it's a physical box just like this. And so you put it in your home, and then it's a connected device. So it's connected to the Wi-Fi, and then it brings happiness in two ways. First of all, you can connect all your loved ones. So let's say, you give that to you were talking about your grandma or your mother, right? So let's say you give that to your grandma, and then all the grandchildren are connected to this box with the app. And so they can, I will make a demo, they can send a message to the box anytime. So it can be a picture, it can be a drawing, it can be anything which is going to bring happiness. And so whenever a message comes up, the heart starts spinning and keeps spinning, until your grandma is going to open the lid to discover the message inside. So that's the first way to bring happiness. And the other way, which is pretty new, we just launched it recently, is more through channels you can subscribe to receive daily content which brings you happiness. So let's say you love positive affirmations because you realize it's something very good for your mental health, and you want to receive that every morning to start the day. Well, you subscribe to it, and then every morning the heart spin, and it means, oh, there is a message, there is a new message coming, and then you open the lid to receive it. So this is just a demo. I think I sent a Halloween message. So as you see, it keeps spinning until you open the box and read the message. So this is for Halloween. So we have a lot of templates like that. So you don't need to come up with, we help you with ideas of things to send.
That's awesome. So you can either create your own message that you want to send, or you have, I guess, prepackaged templates where they can send that so it gets the message across. Now, let's take this example. I love my grandma, and I want to send my grandma a happy message. I want to make sure she gets her daily dose of happiness every single day. So she has a love box. I have the love box. I then use the app, and I can send the message to her specific love box so that she wakes up, she sees a little pixeled heart spin, and then ta-da, have a great morning, Grandma. Love you. Just like that?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a kind of network of love. Then also maybe, you can have multiple boxes, one box for your girlfriend, one box for your grandma, one box for your roommates. And then, you can pick, of course, you need to pick the right one. Don't make a mistake. And so basically you can be connected to multiple boxes and choose which box you want to send the message to. And every box can be connected to multiple people. So it's really a kind of network of positive vibes. So, we have the phones, of course, we all have the phones. Yep. When your phone gets the notifications, it's 99% stressful stuff, or right. A lot of noise. And basically me, when I'm home and I want to have some good time, I'm just turning all my notifications off. But basically the love box is something you're not gonna turn off when you want good vibes, all the contrary. So this is, the fact that we turn off the phone when we want to feel better is a very clear sign that the phone does not solve the problem of, bringing happiness. So this is why I really think that by adding this box into your grandma's home or your home. Like basically our goal is to have every single home in the world with 1 hour devices bringing happiness at home. I really believe like this is the reason why I'm waking up every morning. I
Yep.
believe that it is a better world if we all have a physical space at home, which connects us to the people we love, and which brings us so daily happiness. And as you mentioned, like at the beginning, of course, like so now we have sold over 250,000 units, so 250,000 units so far. So thank you. And
That's
at the
awesome.
very beginning, so it was a very basic software, but now that we have a big user base, we started to be able to invest in like
Yep.
content, templates, and all. So now you don't need to go on the internet and find ideas and all. Like you can really just go on the app, and we give you suggestions of things to send, like beautiful templates, and there are a lot of features to add stickers and all. So we are really building tools to help you bring happiness to your loved ones, and we keep investing in that. Like even with the AI, which is happening right now, like we are working on some AI features to help anyone, write or build something which is gonna really bring happiness to the loved ones. Because some people are more skilled than
Yep.
others, but and people who are not super skilled, they still want to bring happiness. Like, but they don't know how. And so we are working, like this is a teaser. We are working on some features which basically make you spend time with the app. We ask you questions, like and a lot of stuff. And based on that, we're gonna help you write and send a perfect note for the people you love to make them feel loved. And so basically it's a super Cyrano de Bergerac pen, like in some way, like, well, basically, so
Yep.
some extra extra tool to bring happiness around you.
Well, it's an awesome idea, and clearly you're getting a lot of traction. How'd you come up with it? What's the story behind Lovebox?
Yeah, so you mentioned at the beginning that I was working at MIT just before Lovebox, and actually this is what happened. I was, and I'm still, so with a partner and I was in France, and I was starting a postdoc at MIT for my research, and so I was going to be in a long distance relationship with my partner for a year, and I was like, oh no, like I need something to connect me to her, like to make sure she can feel how much I love her and be able to send her some love from a distance. And the phone is just not enough. This is not the purpose of the phone. The phone is good, but like I want something much more, much deeper. And so I just built in a maker space the first prototype of this box dedicated to my messages that she would receive in France from Boston. And then in this space there were a lot of people that were like, oh, what is this thing, like this box of heart? Like, what the fuck? What is this? And so I was, oh, this is a box, my girlfriend, all that. Oh, that's awesome. I want the same for my grandma, like, she's lonely, and or I want the same for my sister, she lives in London, like we all miss her. And I was like, oh my god, this is, I'm not alone. Like this is a real need to have a box for genuine like love connection. And we've all, especially I think in our times, like, like centuries ago, we were born in a city, we would like marry someone maybe to the next city and like, I mean, traveling, we would, distances were, much smaller. But now in today's world, like, like I was born in France, I spent so many years in the US. Now I live in Australia, and I still have a lot of friends. And like, and I'm not alone. Like, and in the US, and I think this is a reason why it's our main market. The US is full of people coming from all over the world, and so we in the US, everyone has family, friends all over the world. And even in the US, this is a huge country. So if you were born in the East Coast, and then you go for work, studies in the West Coast, like you have so many people you care about in the wrong time zone, it's not very convenient. So this love box really brings some asynchronous love communication, and I think this is why it fits so well in today's world.
I think that's a really interesting observation from the human component. Years ago, the people that you knew and loved were always pretty close to you. No one really ever had to deal with distances like that. And now we need a way to kind of almost feel closer together while we're farther apart. I never really thought about it that way until you said that. So you have this product, you came up with it. It's a hit. People love it. So what's the transition, and how does this really cool product become a viable business?
Yeah. So basically, the first few years have been more dedicated to, okay, let's make sure that people want this, that they keep using it, and they do, and that we can, scale enough to be able to build valuable software and experience that people are ready to pay for, and in the long term. And so this step is kind of validated. Like, we have sold over quarter million units, and make $6 million revenue a year. So like this part, like, okay, there is a real like sustainable business. And then so now the I think that there are two things. The first thing is to build an ecosystem around the box, and like some services and software that people are ready to pay for, to keep using the box and enrich the experience every single day. And so this is what we started building since about 12 months. So this is a template part, and also like the AI assistant tools I'm referring to, which just teasing it. But so basically, it's so part of it is free. It's a freemium thing. So when you buy the box, you already have some of these features for free. But if you want everything, you're gonna pay a monthly subscription. And we see very good conversion rates on these early features since about 12 months, and we think it's gonna even going up with the new features. So every time we launch a new feature, we see even more like conversion rate on the subscription. And so basically, it's about like building these tools for our users that will help them stay connected even better with the box, and basically having this monthly revenue, making it like a sustainable and profitable business, and making it possible to keep investing again and again and again to make sure this box brings happiness. And that's a very important part, because if people are like, no, I don't need anything, like, and they do need something, like, because at the beginning, like, you have ideas and all, but like suddenly you realize that it's not so easy to keep this connection alive. And so all the users who subscribe and get the extra features, they all say that suddenly they send more messages, and so everything is much easier, and so their loved ones feel more happiness. So that's the first part, I think, to make it like a super scalable business. It's really to make sure we bring recurring value, and that this recurring value can be monetized through recurring subscription. And we already have that. We already have like $30,000 recurring revenue, and I think we should get to 100K monthly revenue like early next year. That's my forecast based on what we do. And the second part of the transition now is to go beyond messaging, because that's what we realize in interviews. Like, people feel like it's awesome to have a box dedicated to happy stuff. It's not just messaging. So that's why we launched like new features when you can subscribe to get positive affirmations, but also like challenges for your couples to do things which are good for your relationship, or all different kind of topics which are going to make your life happier, and bring you this daily dose of happiness, not only like love messaging. So this expansion is very important also, because in terms of marketing, suddenly it's not just a gift. You're gonna also buy that for yourself. Oh, I really need something to bring me happiness like every day, and this box is a great thing, because it's going to take physical space in my home. Message will come up every morning, like I have to do it. It's very different from other solutions where you need to go on the app every day. Like, this box sits at home, so suddenly, like, when you buy it, like, it's it takes a space and you can't avoid it. So yeah, that's the second part of the transition, is like expanding from messaging to positive content, in general, and so it also means like now we're already like in the wellness and mental health market, but like now it's even more clear through this transition, and it's a very interesting move because it's a very much growing market. Like it's there are, of course there is some competition, but most competitions are like only digital, and we have built like a good barrier to entry with this hardware device that nobody else has, with a good branding, like good reviews, and also like a big user base. And so basically I think it's a very interesting differentiation point, because if you look at the stickiness of wellness mental health solutions, it's tough. Like people transition from one solution to another one and they stop using it because it's just another app. And so it's very different when you have a device. Like suddenly, like of course the device we control the device, so another company cannot sell anything on this device, so like they have to stay with us. But also like from a product experience, like when you have a device at home for something, it's much easier to keep doing it. If it's just another app, it's very easy to ignore a new notification and to hit delete.
I think you made a couple really interesting points there that I wanted to go through first before I ask my next question. Number one was the difference between making the product just a gift and then making it a part of people's lives, right? And I think that that was the first thing when me and Connor were looking at it. We were like, this would be an awesome gift. But also you can take that technology and integrate it into people's lives so they want to actually buy it for themselves. And I think that now my next thing that you touched on, which was customer centricity, right? If you're not making a product that the customer doesn't love, like if they don't love it, then they're not going to continue to use it, recommend it. And I thought the most interesting point that you made was obviously not in my mind right now, so we're definitely going to have to cut something out. Oh my God, what was it? Oh, I blanked. All right, we'll move on to the next question. So we have customers. You have a customer. That's the first time that's ever happened to me, by the way. So let me reset. So you talked about your customer base already, and so I kind of want to get an idea of who is your customer right now, and maybe who isn't your customer right now that you want to be your customer, and why do they need Lovebox?
Yeah. So we have a very interesting mix of customers. Like obviously, because it started, because of my history and all, like it started with a long distance relationship. We have like maybe 30% of the sales which come from people in a long distance relationship who are looking for something to get closer together. But now it's became like at the beginning it was of course a big part, but now it's a minority of the sales. Then now the majority of the sales are more like for family communication. So it's beyond the couple. It's more like, okay, I want my grandmother to feel I love her. I want my parents in the East Coast, West Coast, like so. It's and it's honestly, it's not like really like some app like only like 25 to 35 years old. Like it's very broad. To be honest, what really distinguishes our customers from the rest of the world, of the people, like, it's more like they're optimistic. They want, they really like, it's pessimistic people hate the Lovebox, and optimistic people love the Lovebox. So it's very interesting to see that people who can see the good things in the life or in the future, like really appreciate our products, and they want more of it in their life. So yeah, it's a very interesting mix. It's really cross generations. That's something I love too. Like Gen Z, like on TikTok, we have been extremely viral. Like we have like dozens of millions of views and likes on TikTok. Our product is really loved by the Gen Z or our generation, and it's very interesting because also like grandparents, like very old people, love our products too, because it's so simple. There is no, you can't like, basically it's very hard to make a mistake because you can just like open it, like there is almost no control, so it's very hard to make it not work. So the simplicity of the product and the fact that it connected to a need that, all generations, we all want love and happiness. Like, it's not like a generational thing, like, getting some Uber Eats delivered at home. This is a generational need. Like, nobody needed that, and to be honest, I think nobody, except in very particular situation, we don't really need that, and that's probably something which maybe shouldn't exist. but anyway, like, feeling love and receiving some love, feeling happiness, this is something that all generations share. And so it's very interesting to see that we have customers across like all generations. That being said, it's still more shifted like to the 25 to 35 years old customers, but it's mostly because it's easier to target them on social media with ads, and so it's more related to the distribution than to the traction of the products.
Gotcha. So I wanted to touch on something you talked about a couple questions ago, which was the idea of, you have these mental health products tend to be very, they work and then you unsubscribe. And maybe that speaks to that younger generation you were talking about, the instant gratification type of culture we live in now. So from a product management standpoint, how do you address that sort of consumer behavior?
Yeah, people like starting using it and stopping, you mean, like, and yeah. So
yes, starting and stopping, and
starting and stopping. So, well, we have a little bit like some apps. We do have some systems with like a streak where if you do it 3 days in a row, you get 3 streaks, and then 4 and 5, and then if you stop the 6th day, your streak is gonna go down to 0, and it's very frustrating. And also we are working on it's gonna improve a lot, but we have like a love coin system where the more you send messages, the more you get coins, and soon you're gonna get some rewards and discounts and some free products based on the coins you get. So we have some gamification can really help, but honestly, it's not like it helps. It's not enough. And then I think the physical product by itself helps. When we have interviews, people say, "Oh, sometimes I see the love box," and I'm like, "Oh, I forgot to send messages to my grandmother." So even like when you gift a love box, I think it's good to have a box for yourself too. Not only because, of course, they can send you messages back, but also because every time you see the box, you're like, "Oh, like you basically," because basically when you gift a box to your grandmother, then it's a kind of commitment, because like that now she expects the heart to spin, and so it's kind of now you feel like, oh, she's gonna be so sad if it's always still and never spinning, and then you have to send a message. And I feel, and so from a product point of view, we try to remind you that in a positive way. So also there are some reminders, when you haven't sent a message for a while, and reminding you in a positive way, like more like telling you how good the person feel when they have a message. So this kind of stuff. But compared to digital products, I think that there is a real advantage, because when you just install an app, it's not a big deal not to receive any notification in this app. But when you receive a love box, it's kind of a big deal to get the love box never spinning or anything. So like naturally, the product has a natural stickiness that mental health apps don't have. Like, so mental health apps, like after like 30 days, I think under 5% of people still use it. Like our products, like after like 1 year, is over 50%. So it's like there is a 10x factor between the two. And I think this is a big difference. Like if you want to pick a mental health solution, do you want to pick something that on average, you have a 5% chance to keep using it, or do you want to pick a solution that on average you have a 50% chance to keep using it? I think it's
you want the 50%.
You want the 50%. And so in our transition, which is still in the making, this is something we're gonna really highlight, like in the marketing of our solution.
Yeah, and I think the hardware increases the stickiness of the product, right? It's always good having the software, but the hardware naturally makes it more sticky. Like you said earlier, it's there, it has a physical presence in your house. But I do want to, staying on topic of keeping and making grandma happy. How would one buy a love box in order and gift it to grandma? What's the process of that? What's the process you've developed to get love box into the market?
Yes, so we are mainly a D2C company, so we almost don't have any retail stores and anything. It's really everything is online. So basically, we have our website lovebox.love. That's all, lovebox.love, and so you can just buy the box, choose a design. We have multiple designs. I show you like the very basic, like first original version, but we have like some collaborations with. For example, we have a beautiful one with Kiss Haring foundation. So with a beautiful design, but basically you can choose like customize the spinning piece and and a lot of stuff. You can also have some engraving, everything. So basically you go on the website and you build your unique love box. And then you, of course, if it's for your grandmother, you can get it shipped right away. But still, we advise people to gift it in person, to set it up and everything, because still, when your grandma is gonna receive it, like she needs to connect it to the Wi-Fi, and that's can be so. Your grandma needs Wi-Fi for the love box to work, and if she doesn't,
Yes.
you know what? It's a good excuse to connect her with the Wi-Fi. That will be good for other reasons. And when it's connected to the Wi-Fi, plus like setting up the love box is a good, like it's she will be so happy. You come home, you set up the love box and everything. I think I totally advise travel, and meet in person, spending a good time, having a good dinner, something. Anyway, make your grandma happy, and then when you leave, she has a love box which is working and connected to your phone. And after that, so there is once it's set up, there is a secret code on the box, and it's kind of the mobile phone number of the love box. It's a 8 characters secret code, and basically you're gonna send that to anyone who sends messages to the box. And so when everyone can download the app now, and from anywhere in the world, so they sign up on the app, enter the secret code, and now they can send message to your grandma. And so there are most of the features, are free. They can send pictures, photo, like drawings and everything. All the templates are like 20% free. You just need to pay the subscription if you want to unlock like 100% of the templates, or maybe some future features. But basically, all you can do anything basic that you could do in WhatsApp. You can do it for free on the app.
That's awesome. And then you hinted on, or you talked a little bit about collaborations. So looking ahead a couple years, growth for Lovebox, do you see collaborations as a viable route for Lovebox going forward?
Yes, I do, especially with the content move we are taking. So I can give you some, like on the. So we have a collaboration which is going to be released like with Moleng soon. Moleng is a very interesting. It's pretty new, but it's really growing. And so it's a little character which is all about positivity. And so they have so much content around that. And so the collaboration is not just on the design of the box, but it's also on the content that you're going to receive with the box. And so it makes the collaboration really, really, really interesting, because suddenly people buy the fans of this character, they can buy the box because they love this character. They love that this character brings a lot of positive thoughts, and so they're gonna have this experience on the box. And that's a good example. But we also have a collaboration coming with Harry Potter. Very different style, but it's quite interesting. And we're also working on some collaboration with some like mental health companies, but it's still like in discussions. But it can be really, 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 really interesting when it's not just about the design of the box, like traditional communication collaboration, but when it's like a 360 degrees collaboration, from the hardware, the distribution, like and the software and the content. So that's what I'm aiming for, like deep collaborations, which really like make the product easier to distribute, because suddenly there is a fan base and people who love this,
Yep.
and where it's not just like, oh, let's leverage this fan base. No, let's make a product which is great for this fan base, thanks to a great integration of the content and everything.
And that's really interesting. I never thought about it that way, that people define happiness differently, and different things represent happiness for different individuals. And so Lovebox, through collaborations, is serving as the vehicle to deliver happiness however that individual sees fit. Some people love Harry Potter and get super excited and super happy about Harry Potter. So Lovebox is now that vehicle that you can use with the collaboration to have the Harry Potter design, the emblem, that's spinning around when you gift it, right? And so I think that just expands the market so much more. And, you can go from targeting kids with like Avengers. You could go through that market because kids love Avengers. They get super excited. Oh, I'm a superhero. To now Harry Potter, to even just the pixeled heart and just the traditional love box. So that is, to me, just thinking about that, I'm thinking about all the different ideas and all the different routes Lovebox can go in the future.
I love the way you rephrase it. It's exactly that. It's exactly that. And in terms of market, like suddenly, like it's really much bigger. It's really much bigger. So I'm really excited about it, to be honest. But collaboration take a bit of time. That's like it's because there is, everything needs to be validated, and it takes time. But it's a kind of, that's also right. We are raising money on WeFunder right now. I think we're talking just before we started recording. So because when you do a collaboration with Harry Potter, so that's Warner Bros. Behind, or like, so first of all, you need to be big enough. So we would never been able to do that like years ago. They would not talk with us. But now we're like, okay, we sold like 250,000 units. Like they are talking with us and they are very interested.
Yep.
And so all this collaboration, basically, you need to pay some upfront fees to be able to start it. And then there is like a year of development, and after that there is like 3 years of collaboration of commercialization, and then you can renew it. So basically, you need to pay like, it's confidential, but like, over 50K.
You gotta pay like an upfront cost or something. Yeah,
exactly. And then like all the team needs to work for a year. You need to pay the salaries and all, and then you're gonna get the money like 3 years later through all the sales you're gonna make. But it's extremely interesting. It's gonna be a huge revenue and profits in the future. But so we were like, oh, now it's not just like selling the box. You put some marketing, and the next month you get sales. And all. Now it's a real investment we need to make to generate sales in the future. And so because we have such a huge community with like 250,000 customers, we decided to suggest the community to invest in the company. And so we launched a WeFunder like this summer to let our own community invest in the company. And so we already raised like $275K. So that's really great. So all this project can come up. And so people can still invest. We will limit it to 500K. So it's going to probably be subscribed by the end of the year. And so, yeah, you can check. It's wefunder.com/lovebox. So, yeah, just, you probably have still like, at least I would say until the end of November or December, there will still be a spot to invest in the company.
And I was checking out your WeFunder page before we started the interview, and I was like looking at the reviews, because you get to see what the investors think, the reasons why they invest. And Brendan and I talk about this a lot, but it's an amazing sign when you see consumers become investors because they're advocating for the products. That means that they loved using your product so much that they want to be a part of it. They want to invest. And when I was looking on the WeFunder page, a lot of the reviews were saying, I love this product. I use this product every day. I send images or messages to my grandma, and it makes her so happy. And just seeing the amount of messages and the amount of reviews of people who truly loved the product and then became investors, that that's always an amazing sign to see. And it's always it's a green flag, right? It's always like, that's probably one of the best signs you can have as a startup, is when the consumers want to become investors.
Yeah, totally. That's a piece of advice we got with, at the beginning when starting the company, like really treat your customers, like so good, like make sure they love you, and you're never gonna regret it. And like in this kind of moments, like of course, like it's so helpful. It's so helpful. And also, like, it also makes the team so proud, like, oh, having your own customers like invest in your company, like, oh my god, this is, like, it's normal people. Like, it's not like super, like, of course, like, we raised money in the past with some business angels, but this is just normal people who like, oh, I love to support your mission. I'm also gonna make a financial upside. Of course, if there was no financial upside, like, maybe they wouldn't invest, they wouldn't like give away money. But they're like, for this kind of financial upside, I'm much more happy to give money to you because I love you guys. I love what you are doing. I love how much commitment you have in this product. I love that this product is making the world a better place. And so, I can put this money here and support your mission, and at the same time having a good return on the investment. So that's what's really heartwarming to get all the reviews, and that's a good reminder that it's always worth making a product that people want, that making a product that people work, and not just being focused on making money. Because like having a happy and like customer base which loves you, it's a long-term value. It's a long-term value for anything you're gonna do in the future. Launching a new product, launching a new software, launching a investment campaign, like anything you do new, like if your customer base loves you, it's gonna be bringing so much value. So that's a very good reminder.
No, it's one of the great things about equity crowdfunding is being able to see these communities that these products have created, really show themselves. And one of the things that we love to see every time we have people on this podcast is how they're using their communities and how they're impacting people's lives in a positive way. And I think equity crowdfunding has done a great job of that. Before I go any further, we'll put the link down in the description. I believe you said wefunder.com/lovebox, and that'll be down in the description. We encourage everyone out there listening to go check it out. So I kind of wanted to transition for the last part of our interview into just a little bit about you as an entrepreneur. We talked about your background in robotics. As we said before the interview started, robotics and love, you couldn't think of more different things in the world. But so I guess, where does the entrepreneurial spirit come from for you? You have a background in, science,
Yeah,
but where does this entrepreneurial spirit come from?
that's a good question. My family was not like my parents were like in medicine, so like they were doctors. So it was a very very different environment. But I think my entrepreneurial spirit comes really from computers. When I was 10 years old, like a computer got into the home, and it was my computer. Of course, everyone could use it, but like I was the power user, and it totally changed my life. Like it got connected to the internet like quite quickly, and then I was like, oh, this thing is amazing. Everything you can do, everything you can build. And I remember seeing a TV show on like 12 years old American guys who were like behind computers and creating businesses and making money. Like they were 12 years old and making a lot of money through internet businesses. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I want to do that when I'm older. I want to create an internet company, and I kind of did. It's, of course, I didn't think it would be like a internet hardware company, but that's what
Right.
I. So that's I think that's what it comes from, like my passion for computers, coding, and seeing like that it's possible to create a business, through with very different kind of businesses with the internet.
That's a very interesting answer, because that's an answer I've never heard before, which is that my background in coding and stuff like that and seeing all these people making money on the internet really inspired me to want to do it myself. I've actually never heard that explanation before. That's, it's interesting to always see everybody different backgrounds, right? No entrepreneur has the same path and the same, drive and the same motivations. And that's just another great example of that. So I guess maybe going off of that, anybody can be an entrepreneur, right? But,
Yeah, well,
it's not
then
an
I
easy
think,
thing to do.
yeah, oh yeah,
It's
totally
not
agree.
an easy thing to do, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think also probably like it's for me. I guess I just love building stuff, and like when you start building stuff, I mean, like the only way to keep building stuff is to sell it. And so, I mean,
Right.
like being an entrepreneur for me is just a sustainable way to keep building stuff. It's not really, I'm not like a business person. Like I became a business person because I had to. And of course, when you want to get investors and, anything like business partners and everything, you need to get this business like mindset and skills. But
Right.
for me, like doing business is just a sustainable way to keep building stuff and stuff that I love. Because basically, if I had to find a job to kind of do what I'm doing right now, I would be struggling to find a company doing it. But that's what I want to build. I want to build solutions for people to have daily happiness in their home, and that's what I want to build. And so the easiest way to keep building it is just to keep a sustainable company building that. And so I think this is maybe the second reason why I did it. I think like that was all like what I was talking about, like computers and things. But like I think basically computers gave me a tool to build stuff, and then creating
Uh-huh.
a company was like, oh, there is a sustainable way to keep building stuff with computers.
So what would you say to the kid out there or the, young adult or even someone later in their career that loves building stuff but is afraid to take that risk? What would you say to them?
Uh, I would say just like talk about what you're doing. Don't be too secretive about it. Don't be shy. And as soon as you see that people want to buy your stuff, like what's the risk? You see, it's
Right.
like of course, and yeah, I mean, and until you see it, you can still building stuff on the side. And as soon as you can see some sign that people want to get what you're building, I mean, you can start selling it quickly. That would be my piece of advice, because a lot of aspirational entrepreneurs I've met, they want to start the business once they raise money from investors, and for them that's a validation of their idea, and it's not. There are a lot of examples of people raising good amount of money and nobody wanted that. Web3 is a good example. So it's I think that the best way is really to quickly start to sell, and as soon as you sell anyway, you're gonna get investors if you need it. But it's very motivating, like when people want what you build, and they're like, because at the very early stage, like I just posted on social media. I went on Facebook at the time, like I was still using Facebook at the time, long time ago. And I went on groups on Facebook with people who were like French, because I was born in France, as you can hear it, and so I went on group on Facebook on French people living in the US, because I knew that they had families overseas, and I told them, oh, maybe I'm gonna build 50 prototype of this. Who wants it? And then if you want it, just give me your email. And then I got like dozens of emails, and then suddenly, I was still at MIT doing my postdoc, so I was still not sure I wanted to create this company. Maybe I just wanted to stay at MIT doing my postdoc, having a smooth, non-entrepreneurial research career, the very different life and all. But then I got these 50 people like super quickly responding and want it, and like, not waiting for it. And I was like, my idea is something people want. And so I would say that, really like pitch it and make sure that people want it, and make people subscribe, like to have it. either pre-order it or something, and then it's so motivating. As soon as people are waiting for your product, you don't have the choice. You need to make it.
Yep. And I think that there's always something special about being a builder. And I guess kind of goes back to the legacy and the impact that you can leave on the world when you build something, create something, get it out to the rest of the world, especially in your case, when you're trying to help people and give them happiness, give them their daily dose of happiness. So that's awesome. Now, real quick, I want to touch on your Raising on WeFunder. How are the funds going to be allocated? Can you just touch on that and kind of explain, like 2 minutes, pitch on why people should invest in Lovebox, what they'll get, and how the funds that they invest will help Lovebox get to the next level?
Yes. So in terms of what kind of deal it is on WeFunder, so actually it's a pretty innovative deal. Like it's not equity. At least the main campaign, WeFunder.com/Lovebox, it's not equity. It's a revenue share deal. So basically, we are sharing a kind of 5% of our revenue, a little bit less, 4 point something, every quarter until we repay 2x the amount invested. And so based on our current revenue, it means that basically it will happen in about three years. And so it's interesting because you have a fixed return. Like, you know that the company doesn't need to be sold, acquired. It doesn't need to be IPO'd, because many WeFunder campaigns are only equity. And so basically if the company is never acquired, or if it's take 10 years and only, and you never get any cash until it gets. And if it's sold with a low valuation, maybe you just get maybe your money back or something. So this is a interesting deal where because all the projects we make are going to make us, profitable enough to be able to repay 2x the investments. I mentioned all the collaborations, but also like all the new software, recurring revenue, and also all this thing brings profits, which make it possible to repay 2x the amounts we are raising now in the next 3 years. So that's basically you invest $10,000 now, you're gonna get about like $20K over the next 3 years, repaid every quarter by sharing our 5% of our revenue every quarter. So that's the main campaign. If you are an accredited investor, so it's not for anyone, we also have a different campaign. It's WeFunder.com/Lovebox.France. And this time it's equity, but it's only for accredited investors. So we can't offer that to anyone. And so in terms of deals, this is what it is. And then in terms of allocation of funds, so basically it's allocated to our diversification and expansion into mental health. And also into all the recurring revenue coming from the different features and content we are developing right now. So it's a lot in product and marketing these new solutions. So it's and all the collaboration I mentioned, like it allows us to pay above the team and like the some of the amount we need to pay at the beginning of the collaboration before we get any sales.
Well, Jean, I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to know Lovebox and your mission and your background and everything. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I enjoyed the episode a lot. So thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you for giving us our daily dose. Thank you for giving us our daily dose of happiness.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for helping us spread happiness. Like every single person can help. You can help by inviting me in a podcast like you did. I love it. You can help by supporting a WeFunder. You can help by just talking about it. You can help by buying a Lovebox and spreading happiness in your family. There's so many ways to help it. Or just sending me a message and telling me, I love what you do. And I forward that to the team, and that brings a happiness to all of us, and energy to keep building stuff to brings happiness.
Well, I think that's a great way to end the episode because it's a great happy note to end on. So thank you, Jean. And for everybody out there watching the episode, thank you for listening. We love all of our listeners, and we will see you next time. So long.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.